My name is Janine McGowan and I design cross stitch as the Blue Flower. It has been a whole month since the last video, which is both hard to imagine and yet it's been a roller coaster of a month. We've had new market releases, which is always very exciting and great, and then our poor Dunkel passed, which was horrible. And then I went off to a retreat, which was also wonderful. And then I came home and I got really sick, and then Robert got really sick. And so we've been all over the place and it's been a lot. And then it's in some ways it's been a little bit of a relief to just have immediate grief and immediate things to focus on rather than sort of the worldwide heartbreak. But today, sometimes I feel frivolous coming on here and having puppy videos and talking about cross stitch, but I'm trying to take the approach that we're feeding our joy. And I think back to one of my earliest videos, and I talked about the fact that things that are upsetting and that make me anxious and depressed always come. They always come. I don't have to go looking for them. But the things that make me happy, the things that bring me joy, I have to work for. And so today is one of those days when we're just going to feed our joy, because we don't have to work for the hard stuff. And sometimes we have to work for the joy. So one of the things that brings me joy is celebrating this wonderful community. And one of the ways that we get to do that is by celebrating each other. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in to an absolute flood of stitching in action and celebrating creativity from all of you. So stay with me because we have so many great things to talk about today. First up, we have Angie. Angie stitched Animal Alphabet, and she said she just started this because she liked it, but didn't have any particular goal. She was just stitching because she liked it. And then about a year later, she's nearing the end, and then she found out that a good friend was expecting a baby. And so she just knew that this was meant to be for their new family. And so she is so excited to be right at the end and able to give it to them, and it just worked out perfectly and was meant to be. So Angie, I love it. You did a great job. I love that that you knew where it was going to go as soon as you found out, even though you didn't know when you started. And I think you just did a beautiful job. Rise off behind me. She's sharing her joy somewhere else today. So thank you so much, Angie, for sharing that. Next up, we have Leanne. Leanne stitched the free iris pattern from last market. She did a great job. And she dyed the 16 count fabric that she used herself for this one. So wonderful work, Leanne. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sorry, I've got a loose hair coming out somewhere. Okay. Next up, we have Peggy. Peggy stitched Winterwood's Biscornu, and she used 20 count Midnight Ride fabric from xJudesigns, which I think is great. She added chenille trim on the seam. She said she wasn't very confident about the seam and the way that it was coming out. So she added the chenille trim, and it looks like snow, which I think is a wonderful treatment. She also used a vintage button on hers, and I think it's just beautiful. Thank you so much, Peggy, for sharing that. Next up, we have Eva. Eva stitched the Christmas carousel and she finished the stand. I love the way it came out. I love the little ribbons. I love the way that she finished her stand with the natural stain, and I love the backing fabric she chose for hers. I'm starting to see more carousel finishes. I think people who ordered the carousel, didn't get the kit, but ordered the carousel directly from Heartstring have gotten their carousels now. So as those are getting finished, I'm really looking forward to seeing more photographs. So keep sharing those. But thank you so much, Eva, for sharing that. Then we have Robin. Robin stitched the Winterwoods Biscornu, and she used 32 count slate blue linen from an unknown manufacturer and the called for threads. She did a fabulous job on the assembly, and she has a little fox in her picture, which is so cute. Next up, we have Faye. Faye stitched the Pigeon and Puddle, and she had initially contacted me because she'd said on things like the Puddle, I see a lot of different colors in there that aren't indicated in the chart. And so we had a little back and forth about variegated threads and some of the ways that she could use them. And so she just embraced it, went with the variegated threads, got her own effect, and I love the way it came out, and I love that it's unique to her. No one else will have stitched it exactly the way that she did or exactly the way that I did, and that's one of the things that I love so much about using variegated threads. So thank you so much for sharing that, Faye. Oh, and Faye stitched hers on 40 count almond milk fabric from Grace Notes Fabric. Then we have, I've crossed over onto page 2. Gail stitched Winter Woods Biscornu, and she started this Christmas Day and finished it on February 11th after 144 hours. She tracked this. She used mostly the called for threads, but one of the Roxy flosses, she couldn't get 2 of them, so she swapped for Be Stitch Me Swamp. And I love the way it came out. Also, she used 32 count Persnickety fabric from Silk Weaver, and I love her little personalization on the base. This last one is a bonus. I met this lovely stitcher at the Sampler Guild of the Rockies retreat, and she showed me her version of the spooky Shoebill from last Halloween. She did it like a cracker, and she gave him little swing dancing shoes, so he was standing up. I love it. I love it so much. So I had to throw that one in there just to show, because I couldn't resist. So that is the Stitching in Action flood of wonderfulness. So celebrating all of you, thank you so much for sharing. As always, if you've stitched a blue flower design, I would love to see it and would love to share it on here. And certainly I want to see your carousel finishes if you have them. And I look forward to seeing all of the goodness that you have and your great creativity. So thank you. On to what I'm stitching. I've actually made quite a bit of progress on that Cosford rice piece. I've almost done with that big floral motif at the end. So then after that, the only thing left is the big text block, and I've charted the alternate text that I want to use. So I'm hoping to get that done fairly soon. Now, the next thing I would like to start is a memorial stitch for Dunkel, and I pulled some things from my stash. I've got 1 or 2 samplers that I may use, and a lot of smaller dachshunds that I may incorporate into those, but I also kind of want to wait until market and see what the samplers are like there in case I find one that I like better. So we'll see about that. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to choose yet, but I haven't finished Cosford Rise, and I'll have to go from there and see what we do. On to Stash Spotlight. This is a vintage pincushion. We've talked about my love of vintage pincushions, but I love this. It actually reminds me of something from my mom's geometry classes, because it's just these square, well, not squares, these shapes. Let's see, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sided shapes. I love them, and they're just all connected through the center. But every time I see this, I think there's got to be a way for me to make this into some sort of a thing with designs on all the sides and make it a class project, but I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet, and if the shapes would be the same shape as these on the various sides, or if I would do something a little bit different, and what the designs would look like so it wouldn't be too repetitive. But it's on my bookshelf most of the time, and every time I see it, it makes my brain get excited. So hopefully I will get a chance to work on something like this very soon and brainstorm about it, because this is one that I would really like to see made into something fun. So more to come on this, I guess, but this is just a little antique pincushion that I have floating around as an idea factory for something fun in the future. On to World Around. This time it is the bird's nest fungus. Now this is actually something I saw on Instagram recently, and I thought they were interesting, but I'd never seen them in person. And then several weeks ago, I was assembling some new raised garden beds that we had, and I accidentally knocked over a log in the garden. And on the bottom, there were these bird's nest fungus things. So I thought, I know what those are. I thought I would look them up. And the name comes from the fact that they do look exactly like these little bird's nests with tiny little eggs in them, which is just so cool. Although they look unusual, they're related to many of the common mushrooms that you would find in the supermarket. Button mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, etc. They grow on decomposing organic material, and they help it break down and then disperse the nutrients. But I think the most interesting thing about them is the way that they spread, and they rely on rain and water essentially to spread. Those little eggs are like little capsules that hold the spores, and they're attached to that little cup. And each of those little capsules holding the spores has a long tube, and it's all coiled up and attached to the base of that cup. So when water, a raindrop, or a sprinkler or something splashes in there, it breaks that connection, and that long tube sort of shoots loose all of a sudden, and out goes that little that little capsule of spores with this long tube trailing after it. Now, the tube has a sticky end, so sometimes it just goes flying out and lands on a new piece of wood or something with the sticky end attaches, and it's got a new place to spread. Sometimes the descriptions are, it's like a tetherball wrapping around, so that sticky end wraps around something new completely, and that's how it anchors into a new place, and then those spores spread. So I couldn't find a video that I could show properly here, or some good photographs. I guess there are videos, but I couldn't find one to show that sort of coming loose and shooting out. But maybe someday I'll get to see that happening when it rains. I'll rush out to the garden and see if I can find some more of those and see it happening. But I thought that was really cool. They're very common. They're found everywhere in the world except Antarctica. There's no indication that they're toxic, although apparently they're incredibly tough and not at all appealing to eat. So the next time you're in and around the woods or your garden and you happen to see something that looks like a tiny bird's nest, now you'll know a little bit more about it. On to questions. Last video was, what was your favorite snow day food? Now, I did an absolutely terrible job of responding to comments in the last video. I did read them all, but with everything that was going on and just with everything that, with where my brain was, I wasn't really in a response kind of a place. But I did read them all, and the answers, particularly for snow day food, were very appropriate. We just had another round of winter storms here, so we've had a couple snow days, and the dogs were really pleased about that. So it was fun to see what everybody likes to have. Question this video was, what market release are you most excited about? And I never know how to answer this, because there are always so many. I said I want to look for a sampler that I may adapt for Dunkel. There's so many that I really want to stitch, and I know I will. I think I'm especially excited about the Beneath the Waves designs. Every year there's been a Cross Stitch the Rainbow collaboration where one thread manufacturer makes a pack of 3 or 4 threads, and a bunch of different designers design using only those threads. And so I've got a little freebie using them, but I've seen some of the designs coming out using that pack, and let's see, for those of you who haven't seen it, they're really interesting colors from Cottage Garden. Just beautiful. And with the Beneath the Waves theme, boy, there are some fun designs there. So I think as a group, I'm just especially excited about those. So that's probably my most overall excited. But yes, every day there's a new design out that I'm like, ooh, I do want to stitch that. All right, on to best thing. I wanted to thank you, so many of you, when we posted about Dunkel and had just your kind words. It's been it's been so hard to say goodbye to him, and I know we're gonna miss him forever, and I know it's been even harder on my husband because they were always together. I mean, always. He has not been without Dunkel by his side for 16 years, and it's just, we should all miss him as much as we do, because he was just that much a part of our lives. And I just want to thank you all for the comments that you've put online. And I know, again, I didn't respond to very many of them, but we read them all and we appreciated them so very much, and all of your kind words, and knowing how many of you have gone through that kind of heartbreak and what it means to you, and just sharing the love that you've taken time to share and that we share with each other, and finding the joy in the happy memories and the support that we give to each other has meant the world to us. So thank you all so much. It's been a best thing in a hard time. So I really, really appreciate it. Okay, on to giveaway. Last video, new release time. So we have 6 winners. Choose any one of my designs and you can have a printed chart or an electronic version. Just send me an email to let me know which you'd prefer. The word was bird, and I'm not going to sing. The bird is the word song, although I do know it. And the winners are at Lynn Ellis 2448, at Angie Reif or Reef-M4S, at Carolyn Roden 4941, at Mrs. Bobbin Lacer, at Lori Nicholas 9139, and at Tanvar 9795. So each of you drop me an email. It's blueflowerstitching@gmail.com. Let me know which chart you'd like. If you'd like it electronically, I can just email it to you. And if you'd like it mailed, send me your mailing address and I will get that headed your way. So thank you. On to give away this video. I picked up something amazing at the Sampler Guild of the Rockies Retreat. There's this stunning needle roll. Just in case you have a whip or two that you're not doing right this second and you want to store it in a beautiful needle roll with this lovely fabric. This is made by Becky Stevens. Isn't that gorgeous? I couldn't resist this fabric. Oh my goodness. When I first saw it, had to have it. So use the word stash in your comment and I will pick a winner to get this one in the next video. Now, in the announcements, it will be at least 3 weeks until the next video, possibly 4, because in 2 weeks, I will be in Nashville for market. So you can't see it, but there's a fair amount of chaos in the house right now, where it's a big push to get everything ready, and pre-orders are coming in today. So getting everything packed and all the display stuff done. Hopefully, I will remember to post some things from the show, but no promises. I'll do my best. But when I come back, I'll have some new fun giveaway things, and we'll pick a winner for this one. We'll have lots to talk about. And until then, again, I so appreciate all of you. I hope you are having some time to find joy wherever you can with each other, with stitching, with whatever you need to do. And we have a very brief puppy video at the end. And I thank you all so much for sharing your time with me today. I will chat with you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.